Hello, thank you for tuning in again. You are tuned in to The Encourager, and my name is Nehru. I am actually happy to be here today to share with you some of the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch. Enoch was the seventh son of Adam and Eve, and this is one of the books, of course, that have been removed from the Bible that we carry around today. I don't carry one. I haven't had a Bible in a long time. I guess it started out in a way with technology. So then you could look up the Bible scriptures on your phone, right? Once that became available, and then just got away from the physical book. But then today, as I dropped the phone, speaking of which, today it is actually a reason why. It has nothing to do with technology. It's a spiritual reason why I do not refer to that book very often. In large part because it has been only if I'm guided to, because if I'm guided to go there to use that reference, then I know it's specifically divine led. If I just decide that I'm going to be religious and open up my Bible and read every day, then that is going to be fruitless, at least compared to what you would do if you were to just do it when you're divinely led to do it. And so that's the only time I refer to that book. All the other times, I'm sharing with individuals how that book is incomplete and how it's been raped, R-A-P-E-D, by man over centuries, and how these secretive buildings and places that man does not want us to be in or will not allow the common folk to enter, these places hold these books and these literary works, right, and of wisdom. So a little bit about, again, sharing the Book of Enoch today. I think I mentioned that. So Enoch is Adam's seventh son, and the Book of Enoch is written by him. It's a fair consensus, I think, by most. And so it's considered an apocryphal book, as well as a part of the, let me see if I can say this name right, Pseudepigrapha, I'm not sure how to say that, which literally means falsely ascribed, is a collection of works supposedly written by a biblical character, although it is not a part of the canonical apocrypha, which is what we carry around today, right? And so just want to share a little bit about this book in particular today, because one, that's what I've been led to do at this time. And there are, surprisingly, 105 chapters in the Book of Enoch. Obviously, I will not be reading these. I have not read this before. I'm sharing this with you, so just so that you are aware. And so as I go through and I read, if there's any information that I receive from Most High, from Divine Source, then I will share that with you if it's in reference to the Genesis to Revelation book that most people carry around today, or some other revelation, or interpretation. I will share that with you as we go along. Okay. So again, you're tuned into The Encourager, and the purpose of my channel is to enlighten us to be our best, highest, truest, purest divine form possible here in the 3D, right? And so that has nothing to do with religion and everything to do with spirituality and a relationship with Divine Source, the Creator, God, Yahweh, whatever you want to call him. And so the first chapter, the Book of Enoch, begins. The word of the blessing of Enoch, how he blessed the elect and the righteous who were to exist in the time of trouble. Rejecting all the wicked and ungodly, Enoch, a righteous man, who was with God, answered and spoke. while his eyes were open, and while he saw holy vision in heaven, in the heavens. This the angels showed me. Okay? And so through spiritual aligning, again, of your chakras, of your energy source, of you, right? And you will never get that in the Bible. You will never get that. If you want to find out about that and you want justification or proof, then I encourage you to take a look at, again, some of these other books that have been removed. It's public knowledge that there's been 45 or so that were covered in the 60s. And I'm sure there are others too. I have not looked into the other discoveries just yet because I'm not at that point, and I do not believe I've been led to do that so far. But this is how you get to this place. Now, this is not to say that someone who goes to church can't see angels. Obviously, that's not the case. I was a part of the religious process for decades. I saw things, dreams, visions. I was looking through a journal today. I've spent the majority of my time looking through an old journal. And I can tell you for a fact that I have prophesied over myself, declared over myself, things that literally I'm sitting in right now, standing in right now, that the spiritual places I am in right now. And so one of the things that I wrote here is obedience without understanding is perhaps the greatest form of sonship. And the military has something that's probably not as soft as that. It said you are on a need-to-know basis, right? And so sometimes that's how it works. And as I looked through my journals, I realized that divine timing was at work, and it works on cycles. Some of these things were repeated year after year, literally October to October. It just repeated itself. And what that told me in times past is that I was still dealing with karmic cycles that I had not yet broken at that point in time. So from last October forward, it's been different. Okay, actually from 2 Octobers ago, from October 2021 forward, it's been very different. Okay, but we reach those places, we see those visions more so, right? They become abundant. We become spiritually awakened, not religiously, not Father, forgive me for my sins, not that. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about today. Okay, or that scripture when it speaks about a relationship with the Father and spiritual eyes being open to see heavens and to see the angelic protection and things that and beings that are around us or that are helping us. Okay, so verse 2. I won't talk as much in between verses moving forward. Verse 2. From them I heard all things and understood what I saw, that which will not take place in this generation, but in a generation which is to succeed at a distant period, on account of the elect. The elect are ascended masters. The elect are star seeds, light workers, the 144, the Blu-ray angels, the 19 of the 144. There's an elite even within the ascended, even within the 144. There's a group of 19 that carry nearly every spiritual attribute, anointing, gift. So they're oracles. They are also healers. They are also clairvoyant. They are clairsentient. They carry all. There's 19 of those beings. Okay, so that's what it's speaking of when it's speaking of the elect. Okay, everyone has an opportunity to fulfill their contract. We sign spiritual contracts when in the heavenlies, in the 5D before we are birthed here. Okay. Upon their account, third verse, upon their account I spoke and conversed with him, who will go forth from his habitation, the holy and mighty one, the God of the world, who will hereafter tread upon Mount Sinai, appear with his host, and be manifested in the strength of his power from heaven. All shall be afraid, and the watchers be terrified. Great fear and trembling shall seize them, even to the ends of the earth. The lofty mountains shall be troubled, and the exalted hills depressed, melting like honeycomb in the flame. The earth shall, and this is the 6th verse, the earth shall be emerged, and all things which are in it perish, while judgment shall come upon all, even upon all the righteous. But to them shall be given peace. He shall preserve the elect, and towards them exercise clemency. So, okay. Look up the definition of clemency, okay, to just so we have a understanding, transparency for what that means. Is a disposition to be merciful and especially to be moderate. The severity of punishment due in regards to the severity of punishment due to an act or instant of leniency. Okay. All right. So the elect. So again, the star seeds, light workers, ascended masters, earth angels, Blu-ray angels, whatever angel, whatever type of angel, there are obviously many, various, whatever type of that you are, you become aligned, right, spiritually, and then you can ascend, or they call it in school, they call it get a pass. You get a free pass, right? You get a pass, right, when this judgment comes down on Lucifer, right, on the enemy, okay? And that enemy obviously is in many forms. They all wear a different pair of pants or skirt, right? And some of them really do wear or skirt or pants. So, yes, that's what that is speaking of. And the protection that the elect have, that's why they are preserved in verse 7. Okay. And verse 8 says, then shall all belong to God, be happy and blessed, and the splendor of the Godhead shall illuminate them. Okay. And that's chapter 1. So again, the chapters are short in the majority of these books. But again, the information, obviously, I mean, again, I always use the Book of Jesus because it seems just so asinine that someone who is supposedly has your best interest at heart, society's best interest at heart, would remove something called the Book of Jesus. Does that not like raise a huge question mark in your head? Like, why would they remove that? This is the one for which came for our salvation, as we're taught in most cases, right? Even outside of Christian religions, right? Everybody knows Christ. Everybody knows Jesus. Everybody prays to Jesus, right? The Son of God, right? Why would they remove his book from? There's something to that, you know what I mean? So chapter 2 is actually just one verse, okay? In chapter 2, verse 1 says, behold, he comes with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment upon them and destroy the wicked, and reprove all the carnal for everything which the sinful and ungodly have done and committed against him. So against him. Okay. So against him, this is not just against the Father. This speaks more so, because the way that it is written, it is more so against those who have come against his elect, is what this speaks to. Okay. So those who come against his fivefold is a simple way to put it, but I don't even like focusing on that, because I really do think that now it's not even a think. I know that there's something beyond even that, right? And there's something even beyond sonship. Because beyond sonship, right, which is a common lesson or teaching today, beyond even being a son, right? You are an angelic being. You are energy. You are an angelic, energetic being. You are here for a purpose for which you probably have only seen fractions of, because we pay so much attention to the 3D. Okay? And we're so attentive to the 3D, whether it's food, whether it's sleep, whether it's stimulation of any sort, drugs, sex, TV, sports, arts, whatever it happens to be, right? Malicious things and activities, right? Things that are definitely not for your good. Whatever those things are, we are consumed with these things, okay? But those who break away from that and are able to isolate themselves for a period of time, and I speak on this because it is extremely important. If you are not able for a period of time to isolate yourself from the noise of the world, and the majority of it is noise, they're distractions, the majority of it, because the majority of it gets you distracted from loving yourself. And when you get distracted from loving yourself, then you do not love others properly. And when we do not love others properly, then we start to have catastrophic volcano moments, volcanic eruptions. And then when those things happen, we wonder why. And then we find ourselves going from relationship to relationship, or job to job, or taking out on our kids, trying to live through our kids, and all that sort of thing. Okay. But again, back to the one verse in chapter 2, it speaks of the judgment that comes upon those who come against Most High's elect, those individuals that he's placed in spiritual authority here in the 3D, but karmic individuals, karmic spirits come after these individuals because of the work that they are called to do, okay, and the change that they are called to bring about, which was spoke of in the first chapter, and that new place, that new land, that new earth, that new way of being. Okay, there's so much that's not known today of man, by man. Man hasn't discovered, you know how many animals that man has listed extinct that actually still exist today in the physical? Do you know? There are many, because man finds them all the time. All the time. So if you think man is smart, think again. Man's still finding things that he thought was extinct. Chapter 3. All who are in heavens know what is transacted there. I love that. I love that. That it's plural, right? And not singular. It's heavens. Because there are heavens. There's a 5D, 6D, 7D, 8D, 9D, 10D, right? It is. There is. Yeah, really. They know that heavenly luminaries change not their paths, that each rises and sets regularly, every one at its proper period, without transgressing the commands which they have received. They behold the earth and understand what is there transacted from the beginning to the end of it. Okay? Verse 3. They see, that every work of God is invariable and in the period of its appearance. They behold summer and winter, perceiving that the whole earth is full of water, and that the cloud, the dew, and the rain refresh it. Right? And so chapter 3, this is interesting. So it's talking about a vantage point that is not human. It's talking about a different perspective here. Right? That perspective that's up here. Okay? I'm thinking about Brazil and, is it Jesus, the statue? Is it Brazil? Rio de Janeiro? Where the statue is, looking over the city? I'll be there one day. That's what this is speaking of. It's speaking of a vantage point in understanding the processes and divine timing. Okay, we hear about divine timing, and it's debated going back and forth about free will and divine timing. Do I have the choice? And I've asked myself this question. Do I have the choice to choose? And if I do, can I choose now for something to happen? Can I manifest it now? Right? And what I've come to understand at this point in time, today, 11/10/23, is that it's a combination. That's what I understand today. And I have to accept that today, that it's a combination. Okay? I don't like to, because I like more of a black and white kind of answer, because that's just the way that I am. And yeah, that's just how I'm built. I don't know what to say. Yeah, it's just how I'm built. So, yeah, I'm glad that when black and white isn't possible, and it's really not black and white, that you have to be a little flexible, I'm glad to know that I can be that way and I'm not a stick in the mud. But with this, yes. So I've learned that it's a combination. So it is both divine timing and free will. So as an example, I would like to manifest a new house, and I am manifesting a new house. If I've already manifested it, now I'm just waiting on the resources to arrive in order to get it, and to bring about the actual paperwork purchase, right? Because I already have it. And that's something to realize. Whatever you desire, truly desire, and it's not against someone else's will. So remember the movie Bruce Almighty, you can't influence someone else's will. Right? So if someone doesn't want to be with you, you can't make them. Men and women, teenagers, you can't make somebody be with you. Okay? And doing so through witchcraft and narcissistic ways, you're really just building up karma for yourself. So, a lesson to remember as you live your life: what you do unto others will be done unto you. Not necessarily by that person, but karma and dharma are always at work. Constantly, constantly. This is why the angelics in chapter 3 look from above and they don't interrupt, because they understand divine timing and they understand it's all working together for the good of those that love him. Right? They understand all of that. Right? That's why they look, but they don't adjust anything. Okay? And in fact, I know this for a fact. Listen to this. When things go cattywampus in a, I like using that word. When things go cattywampus in a situation, it doesn't matter if it's a job, parents, friendship, relationship, or intimate personal relationship. It doesn't matter what it is, with your kids, with your spouse. It doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what it is. When divine timing is at work, there is nothing you can do to save that. And what do I mean by save that? There's nothing you can do to stop the mudslide when it's meant to happen. There is nothing you can do. All you can do is get out of the way, hopefully in time, and be thankful that you are not in the way when that karma mudslide happens, when that tsunami of karma happens. Just make sure your heart is pure, your hands are clean, and you're in a good place. Okay? Chapter 4 of the Book of Enoch. Again, one verse, chapter 4. They consider and behold every tree, how it appears to wither, and every leaf to fall off, except of 14 trees, which are not deciduous, which wait from the old to the appearance of the new leaf for 2 or 3 winters. Interesting. Which wait from the old. Very interesting. I'm curious to know what the 14 trees represent as well. Chapter 5, the Book of Enoch. Again, they consider days of summer, that the sun is upon it as its very beginning, while you seek for covered and shady spot on account of being of the burning sun, while the earth is scorched up with fervid heat, and you become incapable of walking either upon the ground or upon the rocks in consequence of that heat. So it's speaking of the judgment, right? And it's also talking about seasons and times, and how each season provides different opportunities, right? So yes, right. I lived in Florida for 30 years. I'm now in Arizona. but in either place. Walking on the pavement with no shoes on in August is probably a really, 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 really bad idea. In either one of those states. And in a lot of others in August. But in the U.S. But yes, you do not want to do that. Okay? You do not want to do that. Okay? To each every season provides an opportunity. Seasons close, again, going back to, I'm focusing on being water. And what does that mean? I flow naturally and as the twists and turns of it go, right? Because I've definitely learned that fighting against the natural flow of things is just a hindrance. It's just a hindrance. And it just means that you're going to stay in karmic situations that are not meant for your good for longer. Again, the same lesson, different pair of pants or a skirt until we get the lesson. Okay? Then we get to meet someone new and someone who's at our new elevated level. Okay? Chapter 6 of the Book of Enoch. They consider how the trees, when they put forth their green leaves, become covered and produce fruit. Understanding everything and knowing that he lives forever and knowing that he who lives forever does all these things for you, that the works at the beginning of every existing year, that all his works are subservient to him and invariable. Yet as God has appointed, so are all things brought to pass. Verse 3, chapter 6. They see, too, how the seas and the rivers together complete their respective operations. But you, verse 4, endure not patiently, nor fulfill the commandments of the Lord, but you transgress and culminate his greatness. And malignant are the words in your polluted mouths against his majesty. Ye wither in heart, no peace shall be to you. Therefore, your days shall you curse, and the years of your lives shall perish. Perpetual execration, execration shall be multiplied, and you shall not obtain mercy. In those days shall you reign your peace with the eternal I'm not sure what that word of all righteousness, and sinners shall be perpetually. So this is speaking of the judgment, obviously, of those who choose to go the way of the dodo bird, or who are going to go the way of the dodo bird, and they may find one of those one someday. And so, yes, it's speaking of judgment. Okay, verse 8. And the sinners shall perpetually execrate you with the ungodly. The elect shall possess light, joy, and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. Again, I've known for a long time, perhaps you have, that the earth was actually created for the angelics, the heavenly beings, to dwell. It was never meant for Satan. People tell you that earth is hell. Earth is not hell. Earth is hell because of the individual's vision, their perspective. That is the reason, and how they function. That is the reason why people view earth as hell, right? He created paradise here. This is why he created man and put them here. This is paradise, right? Man has done what man has done to earth with man's choices, like hiding the Book of Enoch from you, right? And then verse 9. The elect shall possess light, joy, and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. But you, ye unholy, ye shall be accursed. Then shall wisdom be given to the elect, all of whom shall live, and not again transgress by impiety or pride, but shall humble themselves, possessing prudence, and shall not repeat transgression. They shall not be condemned the whole period of their lives, nor die in torment and indignation. But the sum of their days, one shall be completed, and they shall grow old in peace, while the years of their happiness shall be multiplied with joy and peace forever, the whole duration of their existence. Okay, so this is what's to come to those who have said yes. Okay, that is what that's talking about at the end of chapter 6. Okay. Chapter 7, it happened after the sons of men had multiplied in those days, their daughters were born to them, elegant and beautiful. And the angels, the sons of heaven, beheld them. They became enamored of them, saying to each other, Come, let us select of our wives from the progeny of men, and let us beget children. Then their leader, Samyaza, said to them, I fear that you may perhaps be indisposed to the performance of this enterprise, and that I alone shall suffer for so grievous a crime. But they answered him and said, We all swear and bind ourselves, verse 6, by mutual execrations, that we will not change our intention, but execute our projected undertaking. Then they swore all together, and all bound themselves by mutual execration. Their whole number was 200, who descended upon Ardis, which is at the top of Mount Armin. Right? The mountain, and these things may sound fictional, but right. But these are real locations and real individuals that lived and breathed and walked here, right? Nefertiti is not a false to anything, right? Ptah is real, okay? Sekhmet is real, okay? Maat is real, right? Just as you and I are, okay? Yes, so their whole number was 200, who descended upon Ardis, which is at the top of Mount Armin. The mountain, therefore, was called Armin, because they had sworn upon it and bound themselves by mutual execration. Verse 9, these are the names of their chiefs. Samyaza, who was their leader, Yerakabarameel, Akabil, Tamiel, Ramiel, Danel, Askil, Sarakniel, Asael, Armas, Betrael, Anan, Zeveb, Samsavir, Ertel, Tiriel, Yoniel, Arazael. These were the prefects of the 200 angels, and the remainder were all with them. So these are the angelic beings. Okay? Again, real, right? These are the angels, right? And obviously they have others. Okay? Again, so there's light workers and ascended masters, and then there's archangels, and then there's right. And so when we are spiritual beings, we have assigned positions, right? And they have and supernaturally, okay. And what we're supposed to do is bring that supernatural being love here into the earth. Most people never get to do that because they're too busy focused on the 3D. Okay, verse 10 of chapter 7 in the Book of Enoch. Then they took wives, each choosing for himself, whom they began to approach, and with whom they cohabitated, teaching them sorcery, incantations, and the dividing of roots and trees. Very interesting. Very interesting. And the women conceiving brought forth giants, true story, whose stature was each 300 cubits. I don't know what size that is. I'm going to look that up. I'm going to look that up now, in fact. Let me see what size is 3 cubits. 300 cubits. Let me see. So 300 cubits. Whoa. So 300 cubits is 450 feet. So whose stature, verse 12 of chapter 7, the Book of Enoch, true stories, right? Whose stature was each 300 cubits? So 450 feet. Yeah, women today complain, try giving birth to that. Anyway, these devoured, obviously the women, they were obviously giants as well. These devoured all which the labor of men produced until it became impossible to feed them. When they turned themselves against men in order to devour them, and began to injure birds, beasts, reptiles, fish, and to eat their flesh one after another, and to drink of their blood. Then the earth reproved the unrighteousness. So these giants, they did something that they were not supposed to, obviously, right? And so they must have broken some type of spiritual law. By the way, there are spiritual laws. So you cannot do witchcraft against someone for no reason and not expect karma to come back on you. That is a spiritual law because it's unjustified. And anything unjustified spiritually produces karma. I'm going to say it again. Anything unjustified towards another individual, right? That's karma. That produces karma. Right? So most people are walking around with barrels of karma. You need to offload that. You need to get rid of that. Chapter 8. Moreover, Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, breastplates, and fabrication of mirrors. Want to know where mirrors came from? Azazel created them. It doesn't matter what your history book says. And the workmanship of bracelets and ornaments, the use of paint, and the beautifying of eyebrows, to the use of stones of every valuable and select kind, of all sorts of dyes, so that the world became altered. Impiety increased, fornication multiplied, and they transgressed and corrupted all their ways. So this is the beginning of that, right? Amazarach taught all the sorcerers and the dividers of roots. Armors taught the solution of sorcery. Barkayao taught the observers of the stars. Akabio taught signs. Tamil taught astronomy. And Asaradale taught the motion of the moon. I just bought this book, A Complete Guide to Living by the Moon, and it's written by Stephanie Galen. I'll show you this book here. Okay, Complete Guide. Okay, and there's the author's name right there in case you're wanting to take a look at that. I just picked that up yesterday, actually. So, and men being destroyed cried out, and their voice reached to heaven. And that's the ninth and final verse of chapter 8, okay, of the Book of Enoch. Chapter 9 of the Book of Enoch reads, verse 1, Then Michael and Gabriel, these are all archangels. All of these are archangels that I am about to name right now. Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Suriel, and Archangel Uriel. These are all archangels, okay? And you have archangels assigned to you. I encourage you to find out who they are. You can find out that information through first learning your birth chart and then looking at the angels that are associated with your birth chart, and that sort of thing. You can find that out, right? So I know angels that are associated. I know who's the archangel, my guardian angel I know. And then I know And I learned so I have one angel that is heavily guarding me, right? And that angel is exactly like I am, but they're just a spiritual being. So I have that angel. I have a guardian angel, right? Archangel Michael, right, is with me and is often my protector, and that's a common one that many have, and because he's one of the higher ranking archangels, and so all of these archangels and others, again, I encourage you to find out those for yourself, and who, because you should have conversations with your angels. You should be speaking to them daily, multiple times a day. Okay? Everybody goes to God for things, right? But he gave us helpers, and those are angels. Yeah. And then eventually you'll find out those can also be, depending on, right, some things, it can also be loved ones that you have known in a previous lifetime or this lifetime that are also protecting you. I have a grandmother that is extremely protective over me. Extremely protective over me. She was like that when she was here. I didn't see it because I was 21 when as I think back and I see where her protection was. I don't remember prior to that, only because we didn't spend a lot of time with them. For a long time, we were not included in my dad's side of the family. Certainly not by his siblings, and that I went to school. His youngest sister, my grandmother had her when she was 48, I think. Yeah, 48. She she had her when she was my age that I am now. They did not, even the cousins, they did not own us. They did not embrace us growing up. And we went to the same elementary and middle school. They just didn't. So, but that grandmother, her mother, that aunt's mother and she's really like a cousin. She's not an aunt. Is one extremely upset with them. I truly believe it's because they've kept something from me. So there's some type of inheritance or something she probably left me. She passed in 2008. That my sperm donor and his siblings have kept from me. Yeah, and it's probably something that my grandfather actually left me. I know he loved me dearly, and I know that he has apologized for showing my sperm donor witchcraft, because the sperm donor decided to use that against me, and obviously that was not my grandfather's heart. But again, just because you're given a hammer, you can use to hit a nail, or you can use to hit somebody upside the head with it. Just because you have the tool doesn't mean you can do whatever you want to with it. It means there's some accountability there, gun control, right? So yes, all right. So again, I get to going, and I got to pull myself back sometimes. All right. So these archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Suriel, and Uriel, looked down from heaven and saw the quality of the blood which was shed on earth, and all the iniquity which was done upon it, and said one to another, it is the voice of their cries. The earth deprived of her children has cried even to the gate of heaven. So the earth was created for the enjoyment of Most High's beings, his angels, right? To descend and to enjoy this beautiful place, and to give opportunity for us to be a light to those who were cast out of heaven. This is the place where we meet. This is the place where heaven and earth is supposed to come together, right? That's angelic beings and demonic beings, right? I was having a conversation with my wonderful friend, Miss Rita, yesterday, and she's a She is. I don't know what type of angel she is. That's not my responsibility to know that, unless Holy Spirit decides to share that information with me one day, or she does. Who knows? But she is a type of angel. That is for certain. So we met at a garage sale, a garage sale in Florida, back in like 2018 or 19, I think 18. Yeah, 18. And I was looking for some things for my office at that time, and I just moved into a new office, and I was looking for like desk, and and she had some things that were nice but inexpensive, and that's generally what I do when I'm looking for stuff like that. I'd buy new, but generally for like file cabinets and stuff like that, I don't need to buy that stuff new. Why? It just collects dust and hold papers. It doesn't need to be anything extra special. Although I do like cherry wood file cabinets. I've had some of those. Those are nice. But anyway, met her, right? And we've become such great friends. She's a beautiful lady. She's in her mid-60s, I'd say 66, 7, somewhere in there. But just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful person. We had a conversation yesterday. She always calls me on time. It's always perfect timing. That's one indicator. So you have someone who you don't talk to every day. Maybe you don't talk to every month or every week, but there is a divine connection there. It might be with your friends. Oh, it doesn't seem like any time has passed. It's been 10 years. That person is in your life for a reason. They might be a spiritual soulmate. A soulmate doesn't mean an intimate physical relationship. I have guy friends that are soulmates. I have female friends that are soulmates, right? You could be a soulmate for your parent or for a sibling or for an uncle or an aunt or a grandparent, right? Because these relationships cover multiple lifetimes. So you might have been your aunt's daughter in a previous lifetime, or her mother, right? You might have been your dad's father in a lifetime before, right? So, yeah. So yes. Right. So the earth was meant to be for that purpose, and it is for that purpose, and it's gonna be, because anything he sends out will not return to him unfinished. So if he sends a plan out, this contract must be fulfilled. It will be fulfilled by somebody at some point. This is what I heard the other day. I was curious to know, when was the last time for my bloodline that someone has been in this position, or up here where I am? And when I say up here, don't think it's an egotistical thing. Again, it's an ascent. Who has ascended to this place, spiritual place, that I am now? So where I am intermingling the worlds, but through my spiritual eye. Okay, so yeah, I wake up, right, and then I have, I don't know, bodily functions just like everyone else, right, or whatever. Brush my teeth, right? I eat. I need nourishment. I don't eat a lot generally. And if I do, generally speaking, that is a day when it's kind of like a free day type of thing. Like today, I've had a banana and a plum, and it's 3:17 where I am in the afternoon. And I have a lot of days like that where I may just take a couple bites of a sandwich or something, right? Because my spirituality is my nourishment, and I eat to live. I don't live to eat. And so, yeah. But I was curious, and I asked, and Most High said, it's been 16 generations since someone has been where you are today. 16 generations. 16. Well, I haven't always liked it. I can say that for sure. But I'm glad it's me. I've said for a long time, long before awakenings or anything. I'm looking back in my journals to like 2000. The one I have here that I pulled out is 2014, The first journal entry is 4/6/14, and I wasn't anywhere near where I am today, but I was seeing things, and I was having visions, and I was having dreams, and I have since I was a child, and I've written those things down. And I go back in here and I look at some of these things, and some of them have happened, and I look back now and it's just revelatory, you know? And so how many generations has it been since someone has been able to do the spiritual work for your bloodlines, for your legacy, for your ancestral legacy, not just your legacy, how many generations since someone stepped up to the plate and said, yeah, I'm tired of seeing this in my family. I'm going to vanquish that. I'm going to destroy that this lifetime. No one else in my family is going to die from cancer. No one else. Moving forward. No one else in my family is going to be a pedophile. Nobody else. Man, woman, this is ending with me right here. Right here. Are you willing to do that for your generation? Are you willing to do that for your legacy? Are you willing to do that for your ancestors? For your parents, your grandparents, your grandchild, your great-grandchild, your great-great-great-grandchild? The people who are going to be reading about your story 150 years from now. Are you willing to do it? 500 years from now. Are you willing to put the work in? I was going to go ahead and read chapter 9, but I think I'll stop at chapter 8, and I'll share chapter 9 and wherever I happen to stop. Maybe it'll be that. Maybe it'll be every 9 chapters or something. I don't know. But, again, you've been tuned in to Nehru, or the Encourager. My name's Nehru. As you can see, it's kind of a flowing type of thing, and again, I love that. It may seem a little chaotic to some, and if so, I apologize. But for one, there's only so many spaces to put in a title for a YouTube channel video, so I can't put in everything that I speak about. So, and that would be annoying anyway, right? Just know that there is a truth out there available, and I'm going to say there's a truth in you available that you can tap into that takes you far beyond what you see in the mirror today with your pupils. There is a place, there is a state of being that we can get to where we are communicating with our ancestors, and we are seeing our past lives. We are taking a look at our Akashic records, and we are seeing karma and dharma play out. We are seeing the repetitiveness that's happening in our lives and in our relatives' lives, in our loved ones' lives, that we are connected with in this lifetime. So, thank you so much for tuning in again. I hope there's been something that's been shared, that's been enlightening. If you have received any type of downloads in regards to what I've read, feel free to share those thoughts in the comment section. I certainly would love to interact with you in that way. And thank you so much. Again, to my subscribers, I believe I have 13 currently. I am thankful for each and every one of them. And yeah, enjoy your day. Today is Friday. Tomorrow's 11/11. It's going to be a marked day just like today is. Right? It is 3:23 currently. Okay? 72 degrees outside. Enjoy your day. This has been the Encourager.